For the period that we lost them, ideally, we need some help because we were very short already and we're even shorter. But the team still copes with that. Yeah. But we have to do what is right for the club.
If the window were to close and you hadn't brought in a forward option?
That's an option because it doesn't depend on us. Yeah. It doesn't depend just on Arsenal or Mikel or our will. It depends on the market and many other factors.
And is there work going on at the moment to have you identified targets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you're limited by the fact that you can't bring in a domestic loan. Would you consider the possibility of sending Neto or Sterling back to their parent clubs if a domestic loan was the only option?
We're not thinking about that.
Arsenal's January transfer window and that much talked about search for a striker. Just worth reminding you, I think, exactly what he said there. If we can get the right player, we are actively looking. It is clear in this period that when they lost Saka and Jesus, ideally we need some help. But he did say, caveat that with, we have to do what is right for the club. I think that the key word that stands out there from the quote from Arteta was, it is clear.
Arteta has already addressed the question of whether Arsenal will sign a forward this transfer window. When asked in a press conference, he made it clear that the decision doesn't solely depend on him or the club. It depends on the conditions of the transfer market this January. He emphasized that Arsenal will only make a move if the right opportunity arises, but with the market being unpredictable, nothing is guaranteed. This suggests that while Arsenal may be looking for attacking reinforcements, they won't force a signing unless the right player becomes available. Arteta also stated, "We need to do what is right for the club," reinforcing the idea that Arsenal will not rush into panic buys. Instead, they will remain patient and strategic, ensuring that any signing fits the team's long-term vision and adds real quality to the squad. In my opinion, Arsenal must sign at least one striker before the transfer window closes on February 3rd. Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko are difficult to sign this January. Gyökeres could end up joining Manchester United instead of Arsenal because of Ruben Amorim's presence there. As for Sesko, he wants to join Arsenal, but RB Leipzig has refused to sell him this January. He might arrive in the summer instead. Dusan Vlahovic could be a good signing for Arsenal, especially now that Randal Kolo Muani is joining Juventus. Juventus already has enough strikers, so Vlahovic may look for a new club, making Arsenal a great option for him. About Vlahovic, we have a lot to discuss, including Kolo Muani, transfer speculations, contract situation, and more. Let's dive in. While Vlahovic has been recovering, Juventus has made a significant move in the transfer market, bringing in Randal Kolo Muani on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. The French international, known for his speed, agility, and clinical finishing, adds a new dynamic to Juventus' attack. Kolo Muani first made a name for himself at Eintracht Frankfurt, where he impressed with his ability to both score and create goals. However, his time at PSG was less successful, with only 11 goals and 7 assists in 54 appearances, a respectable record, but not the dominant force many expected. Now, in turn, he has a chance to reinvent himself, and he's already being viewed as a serious competitor for the starting striker role. This move is a game changer for Juventus. It means Mata now has another quality option up front, and he's not afraid to rotate. With Kolo Muani available, Juventus has a forward who can either complement Vlahovic or directly challenge him for his place in the starting 11. And given how competitive things are at the top level, that's exactly what Mata wants. This is where things start to get tricky for Vlahovic. With Juventus now having multiple attacking options, the Serbian striker is no longer the automatic first choice he once was. Thiago Motta has been clear in his messaging. Competition is crucial at a club like Juventus. He believes that having multiple top-tier attackers fighting for a spot will push everyone to perform at a higher level. And while that makes sense from a managerial perspective, it puts Vlahovic in a difficult position. If Kolo Muani starts performing well and becomes Mata's preferred option up front, what does that mean for Vlahovic? Will he have to accept a squad rotation role? And if so, would he even be willing to stay at Juventus under those circumstances? These are the questions that now surround his future. Whenever a top player faces uncertainty about their starting role, transfer rumors inevitably follow. And for Vlahovic, those rumors are heating up fast. The two clubs most heavily linked with him, Chelsea and Arsenal. Both Premier League giants are reportedly keeping close tabs on his situation, and a summer move could be on the cards. Chelsea's interest is particularly intriguing. Reports suggest they might be considering a swap deal involving young midfielder Renato Vega, which could be an attractive option for Juventus as they look to strengthen their squad in multiple areas. The Blues are still in need of a consistent goal scorer, and Vlahovic, despite his recent struggles, fits the profile of a powerful, clinical finisher. Meanwhile, Arsenal's interest makes just as much sense. With Gabriel Jesus struggling with injuries, Mikel Arteta is reportedly keen on adding another striker who can consistently deliver goals. Vlahovic has been on Arsenal's radar for a long time, and given his skill set, he could be the perfect addition to their attack. Of course, there's no guarantee that a move will happen, but as the summer transfer window approaches, the speculation will only intensify. Another key factor in all of this is Vlahovic's contract. Right now, his deal with Juventus runs until 2026. That might seem like a long time, but in football, contract situations can dictate a player's future very quickly. If Vlahovic decides not to extend his contract, Juventus will have a decision to make. Do they sell him this summer and cash in while they still can? Or do they risk waiting, knowing that his value could drop as he gets closer to the end of his contract? For Juventus, this is a tricky position to be in. Losing a player of Vlahovic's quality for free would be disastrous, so unless he commits to a new deal soon, the club might be forced to sell him in the upcoming transfer window. And that only adds fuel to the growing transfer rumors. So, where does all of this leave Vlahovic? Right now, he finds himself at a crossroads. On one hand, he's still an incredibly talented striker who can be a key player for Juventus. On the other hand, the arrival of Kolo Muani, his recent injury struggles, and ongoing transfer speculation have cast doubt over his long-term future in Turin. Would he fight to reclaim his spot and prove he's still the main man at Juventus? Or will he look for a fresh start elsewhere, possibly in the Premier League? For months, there was a strong belief that Kieran Tierney would be leaving Arsenal in the January transfer window. With his contract winding down and his game time limited, it made perfect sense for both player and club to part ways sooner rather than later. Interest in Tierney wasn't lacking either. Several clubs, both in the Premier League and abroad, had been monitoring his situation. His experience, work ethic, and ability to play as an attacking fullback made him an attractive option for teams in need of defensive reinforcements. However, among all the interested parties, Celtic quickly emerged as the most realistic destination. Tierney's emotional connection to Celtic is no secret. Having come through their academy and played over 170 games for the club before his £25 million move to Arsenal in 2019, a return always seemed like a matter of when rather than if. With Celtic pushing for another Scottish Premiership title and looking to strengthen their squad, bringing back one of their own was an opportunity too good to pass up. The expectation was that a deal would be done in January, allowing Tierney to settle back in immediately. However, as the days passed and the transfer window neared its end, no official agreement was reached. Instead, news emerged that Tierney was opting to wait until the summer. But why? Rather than securing an immediate transfer, Kieran Tierney is now expected to sign a pre-contract agreement with Celtic, which would see him officially rejoin them once his Arsenal contract expires in the summer. According to The Telegraph, this deal is close to completion, meaning that while Tierney won't be making the move this month, his return to Scotland is all but guaranteed. For those unfamiliar, a pre-contract agreement allows a player to negotiate and finalize terms with another club while still under contract with their current team, as long as they have 6 months or less remaining on their deal. It's a common arrangement in football, especially for players who are about to become free agents. So why would Tierney choose this route instead of leaving in January? One possible reason is financial. By waiting until the summer, Celtic won't have to pay a transfer fee to Arsenal, making the deal much more affordable for them. From Tierney's perspective, staying at Arsenal for a few more months ensures he continues earning his current wages, while also allowing him to fully recover from any lingering fitness concerns before making the transition. While the delay might be frustrating for fans eager to see him back in a Celtic shirt, it ultimately seems like a win-win for both player and club. But what about the other potential moves that were on the table? Although Celtic was always the most logical destination, Tierney did have other options. Several Premier League clubs reportedly inquired about his availability, and there was also interest from teams in Serie A and La Liga. Remaining in England could have been an appealing prospect, particularly from a financial standpoint. Tierney has proven himself capable of competing at the highest level, and staying in the Premier League would have allowed him to continue playing in one of the most competitive environments in world football. A move abroad was also an intriguing possibility. Serie A, in particular, has been known for revitalizing the careers of talented fullbacks, and Tierney's skill set would have fit well in Italian football. However, despite these alternatives, his heart was always set on Celtic. The emotional pull of returning to his boyhood club, combined with the opportunity to play regular first-team football and potentially captain the team in the future, made it an easy decision. But was his time at Arsenal really as disappointing as some have suggested? When Tierney joined Arsenal from Celtic in 2019, there were high hopes that he would become the club's long-term left-back. His aggressive defending, tireless work rate, and attacking ability made him a fan favorite almost instantly. However, his time in North London was plagued by injuries. Whenever he found consistency, setbacks would strike, preventing him from cementing his place as Arsenal's undisputed first-choice left-back. The arrival of Alexander Zinchenko further complicated his situation, as Mikel Arteta favored a more inverted fullback role, one that didn't fully suit Tierney's strengths. Despite these challenges, Tierney always gave his best when on the pitch. His passion, leadership, and commitment never wavered, which is why he remained a respected figure within the squad and a player fans continued to support. Unfortunately, circumstances just never fully aligned for him at Arsenal, and now, a return to Celtic offers him a fresh start. Although Tierney's time at Arsenal didn't go exactly as planned, most fans still hold him in high regard. His dedication, professionalism, and love for the club were evident throughout his time in North London, and many Gooners will be happy to see him get a new opportunity to shine. Unlike some departures that leave a bitter taste, Tierney's exit feels like a mutual understanding between player and club. Arsenal has moved on with a different tactical approach, while Tierney now has the chance to return to a club where he is truly valued. It's always a special moment when a player gets to go back to their roots, and for Tierney, this move to Celtic represents more than just a transfer. It's a homecoming. So, while Kieran Tierney's departure from Arsenal may not be happening in January, his return to Celtic is now only a matter of time. Signing a pre-contract agreement means he will be heading back to Scotland in the summer, bringing an end to his 6-year stint in North London. It's a move that makes sense for everyone involved. Arsenal gets clarity on his future. Celtic regains a top-quality left-back without paying a transfer fee, and Tierney gets the opportunity to revive his career in a place where he's truly at home. But what do you think? Will Tierney's return to Celtic be a success? Should Arsenal have kept him longer? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe for more football insights.